Thank Goodyear for the chicken. Now, how do I balance? So it's about balance. Balance, my friend. The yin and the yang together. I believe that the rings around the planet Saturn are all of Donald Trump's tax record. I believe that the rings around the planet Jupiter are Hillary's email. That's all the balance you're going to get tonight. I believe in the statistic that says in the year 2020, that year alone, 250,000 Americans will reach the age of 100. And they will all have valid Florida driver's license. And speaking of driving, have you ever been out on these country roads and you see the signs, adopt a highway? You've seen those signs, adopt a highway. Here's my question. If a gay couple adopts a highway, will the highway grow up to be straight? Evangelicals believe that homosexuality is an abomination because it's in the Bible. They are right. It's in the book of Leviticus, which follows the verse that says it's an abomination to touch the skin of a dead pig, a dead pig skin, which puts football in a whole new light. And as more and more states are legalizing recreational marijuana and same-sex marriage because it says in the Bible that when two men lie together, they must be stoned. And then you have the heterosexual coming up in an argument. And the husband says to his wife, how come you never tell me when you're having an orgasm? And she says, I'm never near a phone. My second song, as some of you know, I was born and raised in Buffalo. I have a winter home there. A winter home in Buffalo. I went to Catholic school. Tom to miracles. Every year in Buffalo in Catholic school, we got the day off on the feast of Saint Pedophilia. 3 years later, I joined the Marine Corps. During the Korean War, the Forgotten War. I never forgot. I was wounded during that war. It was in Tijuana, but I was wounded. It's a Mexican hat. So I came home, raised a family. 3 children, 7 grandchildren. Like the time the 5-year-old said to me, Grandpa, when are you going to make a noise like a frog? I said, why do you want me to make a noise like a frog? He said, Mommy says as soon as you croak, we're all going to Hawaii. I also have a great-grandson, 3 years old, cute little fella. He was one of the early Trump supporters. Single white male with no college. 2 years later, I had a show on public television. People still remember the show. Just the other day, an old guy went up to me and said, where's the men's room? No, he remembered. He said, we always used to watch your show on PMS. So I started writing song parodies. Now, we go back, we'll do this in chronological order. We go back 3 years ago, 2015. At that time, there were 17 people who wanted to become the Republican nominee. Do you remember that? They already had these debates, and there were 17. Trump started to move up, and that made the Republican establishment a little bit nervous. They were for Ted Cruz. Some of them were for Jeb Bush. Some were from Carly Fiorina. when I drop names, I don't mess around. Carly Fiorina, right? It's like Sammy and Dean. Carly, right? So Trump is moving up, and the Republicans are getting nervous. 3 years ago, remember? And I decided, well, I had an idea for a song parody, and I decided I will take the high road with Mr. Trump. I will not stoop to his level. I will deal with him with sophistication and nuance. Sophistication and nuance. Oh, the Donald is a schmuck. T-R-U-M-P. He's high in the polls, that's just our luck, says the GOP. He drove away the women and the Mexicans too, who carried the bigots. Well, hope-de-doo. With the Donald we are stuck. O-S-H-I-T. He's uneducated, he's all the rage. Yearning to be led. That thing on his head he puts in a cage when he goes to bed. Give me a T, give me an R, give me a U-M-P. Dumb it down for posterity. He's good for comedy. Yes, it's true. Vote for the Donald and the joke's on you. Wow. All right, that was great. It's been over a year and we've all had a chance to assess our commander-in-chief. After careful assessment, here is my honest belief. Crazy. The guy we elected is crazy. Maybe a second opinion is due. Yeah, he's crazy. And that is my second opinion. Regarding his marbles, he's missing more than a few. Do you think he will fire Bob Mueller? He's backed in a corner, it's true. Do you think he will pardon Bill Cosby? What? I wouldn't put it past him with you. All right, well, maybe. I'll support him, although I'm very annoyed. Because without him, comedians surely would be unemployed. All right. January 20th, high noon, 2017, he's sworn in. As the Marine band plays Hail to the Chief. Hail to the Chief as he moves into the White House. As the mannequin Melania stayed up in the Tower of Trump. She took a look at the house and went with Donald Trump and said, oh, I could never live in such a sleazy dump. 3 million votes behind the one who was more qualified. Elected by the Russians with hacks beyond belief. His hand is on a copy of his book, Art of the Deal. So raise your arms and a salute for the groper-in-chief. Well, about a year and a half ago, they landed in D.C. A brand new White House cabinet, sleazy as could be. Through the revolving door they came to serve their president. They were either dim or crooked or just incompetent. Do you remember Rice Priebus? His appointment was a laugh. As chief of staff, he lasted about a week and a half. Replaced by General Kelly, the man who guarded the door. Every day is miserable, he's a masochist for sure. And dare I mention Michael Flynn, a disgrace to his Irish name. The man who shouted, lock her up! He's in the Felons Hall of Shame. And EPA Scott Pruitt resigned, and that is that. He wanted to spend so much more time believing the earth is flat. Jeff Sessions quotes the Bible to justify some outrages. His version of family values lock the children in cages. As Robert Mueller closes in on this array of hacks, in case you missed it the last time around, Watergate is back. With a little bit of bloom and luck, and we'll forgive you if you voted for him. Just don't let it happen anymore. He loves that thug who's working in the Kremlin. With this dictator, he's hopping in the sack. Do you remember when Canada was an ally? All together shouted out that dump this hack. With a little bit, with a little bit, with a little bit of luck we'll dump this hack. With a little bit, with a little bit, with a little bit of bloom and luck. It's way past time when we brought ourselves together to fumigate the White House would be fine. A fresh new start, a new beginning, whatever. In a perfect world, he would resign. Well, a little bit, well, a little bit, well, a little bit of luck, he would resign. With a little bit, well, a little bit, with a little bit of bloom, bring back Bush or even Truman. This guy's demented, I'm thinking. This nut thinks that he's Lincoln. With a little bit of bloom and luck. Yeah, now you know it. You notice that the word Trump does not appear in that song. That's because the song is about Mike Pence. The next time he does that, they should pack up their cameras and get the hell out of it. What are the Democrats going to do? What are they going to come up with? Cory Booker. Young, he's attractive. Yeah, Cory Booker. Senator from New Jersey, former mayor of Newark, and an African American. Hashtag too soon. So then we have some dark horse candidates like the former mayor of New Orleans, Mitch Landrieu, you know, and the mayor of Los Angeles, Eric Garcetti. That's about how he's doing. Showbiz trick, Louis, you might write it down. Uncle Joe Biden and Grandpa Bernie Sanders having the combined age of a redwood tree. Now, I'm talking. Kavanaugh, if confirmed, would be the 5th Roman Catholic on the court. The non-Catholics are Kagan, Ginsburg, Breyer, Roe, and Wade. Now, the opponents of Roe v. Wade, they have this theory that a fetus at 20 weeks, a 20-week-old fetus can, quote, fondle itself and feel pleasure, unquote. Now, as I recall, in my case, it was more like 15 weeks. And then there's another case, very, very familiar with the Robert H. Jackson people, and that is Barnett versus West Virginia. This is the Jehovah's Witness case. Students, children in West Virginia, they were Jehovah's Witnesses. They refused to pledge allegiance to the flag because it was against their religion. And the teachers were actually taking the kids' arms and making them pledge allegiance to the flag. And this reached the Supreme Court, and Justice Robert Jackson delivered the majority opinion, which I will quote. That opinion. Now, a few years ago, I set that opinion in music. I will spare you that tonight if you have to know. But let me paraphrase Justice Jackson's opinion in the Jehovah's Witness case. If there is any fixed star in our constitutional constellation, it is that no official, high or petty, can prevent a football player from kneeling during the national anthem. You may not like it. In my opinion, that's what Justice Jackson was saying. And I might further add that we dispense from the national anthem during sporting events because it is usually butchered. So how would Jackson react to some of the current cases about these Christian bakeries, right? Can a Christian bakery be forced to sell hot cross buns to Jewish lesbians? All right, I made that up. But the most recent case in Colorado, this was Masterpiece Cake Company versus the Colorado Civil Rights Commission. And can a Christian baker be forced to make a wedding cake with 2 men on top, 2 women on top, 2 men and a goat on top, whatever? And the court said, no, you can't force the baker. Why? Because baking is speech. That's like at Citizens United. Remember, money is speech? I don't think speech is speech anymore. But now, they say that baking is speech. And if baking is speech, you cannot muzzle a tart. Any tarts in here, we know who you are. So that's the baker. What about the butcher and the candlestick maker? What about the shoemaker? Can a Christian shoemaker save the soul? So, well, next year they're taking out the florist. There's a case about a Christian florist. And again, the question, can a Christian florist be allowed to have a sign in the window that says, this flower shop is pansy free? So on and on and on. Can a transgender person be forced to bring a birth certificate to go to the bathroom in North Carolina when the only alternative is to go to the bathroom in South Carolina? North Carolina is a great state. I have family there, and I love them dearly, but I must do my job. Here's a fact you must assume: to use the powder room in Carolina. If you're gender, you have trans, have your birth ID in hand, or they will fine ya. If you are now a woman, the governor does not care. He says, now use the men's room. No one will bother you there. To break the bathroom laws is a crime. Where do politicians find the time? Can you perceive it? Down in old NC, bring your birth ID to P. Can you believe it? That state sure must be tranquil and at peace through and through. The cops must all look busy. So here's what they do. Hang around the bathroom stall to see if you have balls in Carolina. When a man becomes a woman, she will make 74 cents for every dollar she made as a man. You think employers would be fine with that? So this issue is debated all over the world, including Ireland. On a transgender cleric, a procedure was done. Father Murphy is now Sister Margaret and none. Of this odd situation, the church was the cause. When a woman cannot be the priest she once was. Here's a story about an immigrant, a dirty immigrant, a filthy immigrant, came over here from Russia. And what did he do? He had the audacity to write, God bless America. I'm referring, of course, to Irving Berlin. In order to set up this next bit, which I hope goes better than the last one. I will play one of Irving Berlin's first songs, wrote back in 1910. Some of you might remember it. All of you might remember it. Come on in here. Come on in here. Alexander's right out there. Come Come on in here, come on in here. It's the bestest band, what am. They can play a bugle call like you never heard before. So natural that you want to go to war. That's just the bestest band, what am. My honey lamb, come on along, and let me take you by the hand. To meet the band, to meet the man who's the leader of the band. And if you want to hear the Suwannee River played in ragtime, come on here, Alexander's Ragtime Band. Here's an updated parody about the hottest musical ever to hit Broadway in decades. Come on in here, Alexander Hamilton. A Broadway show, and did you know those founding fathers sure had fun as they sang and danced across the stage the British would attack, only to discover that George Washington was black, as was Thomas Jefferson. A theatrical fact. Come on along, and let me take you by the hand. To take a tron, have your credit card in hand. You can pay $1,000 just to see it right away, or $850 for a Tuesday matinee. There's a ticket, scalper in plain sight for every light on old Broadway. And Aaron Burr, that dirty cur, he moved in for the kill. Hey, Al, said he, you'll never be on the new $10 bill. So if you want to see what happens, better save your pennies. Sell an heirloom for standing room at Alexander Hamilton. Alexander Hamilton. Yeah, there we go. Hamilton has about 42 songs, all written by the genius Lin-Manuel Miranda, who also played the lead of Hamilton in the original Broadway cast. Now, a lot of the music is hip-hop. Now, don't let that turn you off. It was adapted from the novel, the biography rather, by Ron Chertow. And Lin-Manuel Miranda read this and was inspired to write the musical. Now, when Ron Chertow heard that there was hip-hop in there, he was appalled. He later changed his tune when he saw the show, and at last count, Ron Chertow had seen the show 22 times. Now, the song I'm going to do for you is a real showstopper. It's not hip-hop, although I'm certainly capable of doing hip-hop under my hip-hop stage name, Iced Coffee. Iced tea was taken. Well, so here's the song. It's sung by King George III, the villain, obviously, in the American Revolution. We think of King George III as a big fat man with a beard, but in this performance, the actor playing George III is a young, very handsome actor. And he comes out, and he's dressed in this garish fire engine red velvet cloak with a crown that stands 2 feet on his head, and he has a message to the American colonists. So here he comes. King George is coming out. He's taking little steps. Here he is. He's mincing is what he is. And here's King George III with a message to the colonists. You say the price of my love's not a price that you're willing to pay. You cry on the tea that you spilled on the tea that you see me go by. Why so sad? Remember we had an arrangement when you went away. Now you're making me mad. Remember, despite our estrangement, I'm your man. You'll be back, soon you'll see. Remember you belong to me. You'll be back, time will tell. Remember how I served you well. Oceans rise, empires fall. Together we went through it all, and when push comes to shove, I will send a fully armed battalion to remind you of my love. Da 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 da. You say your love is draining as you can't go on. You'll be the one complaining when I'm gone. And no, don't change the subject. For you are my favorite subject, my sweet submissive subject, my loyal royal subject forever and ever and ever and ever and ever. You'll be back like before. I will fight the fight and win the war for your love, for your praise. I will love you till my dying days. When you're gone, I'll go mad, which he does. So don't throw away this thing we had. That's my favorite line of the song. Don't throw away this thing we had. And when push comes to shove, I will kill your friends and family. Remind you of my love. Da 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 da. How do you remember all that stuff? And I would say, remember what? There are ways to improve one's memory. Crossword puzzles, over-the-counter products. What I do is see if I can get through a kind of a complex song. I did this last time, but I've updated it. And it's a tricky song called 45 POTUSes. You political junkies know that POTUS stands for President of the United States. And in this song, really, we get the entire history of our country in about a couple of minutes. So wish me luck. Here we go. With 45 POTUSes. George Washington, John Adams, Thomas Jefferson, James Madison, James Monroe, John Quincy, Adam Jackson, and Van Buren. William Henry Harrison, caught pneumonia, he would duck. Then John Tyler, Timothy Canoe, Sam Campbell, how do you do? Zachary Taylor, Colin Zack, Millard Fillmore, what a hack! Franklin Pierce, who was he? Jane Buchanan, obscurity! Who's next? I don't recall, oh my gosh! I've hit the wall! Let a snag in my song, come back later, move along. Johnson, Grant, Rutherford, Hayes, these fellas meant no harm. For the last for James Gay Garfield, the poor man bought the farm. Chester Allen didn't go far, Mama, where's my pa? Grover Cleveland in the White House, ha ha ha. Another Harrison named Ben. Who's next? Grover Cleveland. What again? William McKinley, no, 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 don't shuffle off to Buffalo. San Juan Teddy making history. Big Bill Taft, fatter than Chris Christie. Woodrow Wilson went to war, and Warren Harding was aboard. Calvin Coolidge, Juca Trust, Herbert Hoover, Wall Street bust. FDR had the longest stay. Harry Truman, bombs away. Ike was a general, as you know. JFK knew Marilyn Monroe. LBJ wrote the Voting Rights Act. Nixon was a crook, in fact. Ford's time in office got it quick because it didn't help any pardon Dick. Jimmy Carter, the Peanut Man. I bet he wishes that he never heard of Iran. Ronnie Reagan from the start always seemed to be acting the part. Bush 41 was for Hillary. And I'll bet so was 43 and the rest of the Bush family. Under 42, the economy was sound. Clinton balanced the budget, but he fooled around. 44, Obama, what a legacy. 45, the Donald. OMG. Wait a minute. Who did I leave out? Abraham Lincoln, our greatest POTUS. I left them out on purpose just to see if you would notice. I did it. Thank you very much. I want to pay respect and honor to two men who are here tonight. You all know them. And I was commissioned to write this next song by the Honorable Judge Sal Martoche from Buffalo. He's sitting over there. And some of you know, Martoche is the keeper of the flame of General Wild Bill Donovan, who founded the Office of Strategic Services, World War II, the forerunner of the Central Intelligence Agency. And Sal commissioned me to write this song. He's like Greg Peterson, you know, these guys tell you what to do. You salute, click their heels, they say jump when you say how high. And so, this is for Sal, the ballad of Wild General Wild Bill Donovan. Yes, his name was Wild Bill. An Irish lad from Buffalo with a mission to fulfill. He won the Medal of Honor. In the First World War, that was just a rehearsal for what would be in store. He then became a lawyer, that was back in the day. We won't hold that against him. No one's perfect, as they said. As war clouds gathered, with all Europe in distress, intelligence was needed, so he formed the OSS. With the Office of Strategic Services, the Allies would be saved, and Wild Bill Donovan helped put Hitler in his grave. The OSS became the CIA to carry out the fight against the flak from the enemy, congressional oversights. You can draw a line from Donovan to the CIA, which led to the Navy SEALs at Abbottabad, just to serve bin Laden's dead. There are unnamed stars on Langley's wall, enshrined in secrecy. And with Wild Bill Donovan, they kept our country free. Sal Martoche, ladies. Journey's grandmother, Wendy Llewellyn, who had the Wesley house. Yeah, that's her grandmother. I remember the Wesley, and Bill Clinton stayed there a couple of times. I told Willie, put up a sign on the counter. It says, Bill Clinton slept here. With God knows who. And when he said, that's who. So Journey, when she was a little girl, she had a dream to one day bring a national colony center to Jamestown. It made so much sense. Because 100 years ago, Jamestown was founded by Swedish furniture makers. What better audience for comedy? Swedish furniture makers. And so the link between big-time showbiz and major comedy was Kelly Carlin. She provided that link. And her father, George Carlin, is prominently displayed in the Comedy Center. It's a magic place. And it was black. The problem, what an honor that is. You know, no pressure, right? Because when a comedian sees somebody work, they take on, without even realizing, they take on a characteristic. I don't care what happened. For example, when I was a kid growing up in Buffalo, on Sunday night we listened to Jack Benny on the radio. And the next day I go to school. And the guys would pick on me, you know. And I'd say, now cut that out! You can't help it. So I had to really use discipline tonight to avoid using any of Lewis's stuff. Or genre, if you will. And I hope you do. yourself is silly, to be contrived. And if I did try to emulate that style, I know I only fuck it up.